They are intimate and dark and intense often, but they remain cryptic and removed, as if they are being told in a language we don't quite speak, or as if they are driven by a deeper code that we can't crack, a code that governs the composition of these stories and determines what they will be and how they will operate. I've been a pusher of Diane Williams' work since her first book came out in 1990. You'd think I would have developed a slicker pitch about it by now, a quicker sell. You'd think. But woe to anyone who tries to summarize the uncanny attacks on reason that constitute this body of work, and yet it is still tempting to try to make sense of it all, not just because most of us are doomed to hunt for sense, to douse ourselves with certainties and clear points and meaning. It's that the stories themselves flirt so wickedly with sense, but rarely quite build it, rarely quite commit to an entirely coherent scene or moment in narrative time. This is part of the shock to reading Diane Williams for the first time. Her stories end so soon after they've begun, and we readers are thrust back into ourselves to wonder and worry. What was that we just read? What did it mean? What happened? What was it about? Each sentence becomes a piece of evidence, designed to mislead as much as it is designed to clarify. On the one hand, these stories would seem to give so little, at least in the quantitative sense, yet how is it that they resonate so profoundly? How is it that they endure? Well, I don't know. I just don't. And this ignorance does not really trouble me because it does not keep me from a profound enjoyment of this work. These stories matter because they derail us from our expected feelings and beliefs, and in so doing put us face to face with our world, undisguised. These stories work the way art does, with great mystery. And, why do we need to mess around with that? It could help to say what these damn things are about. They are about people, foolish people. In other words, all of us. The stories chart the kind of behaviors we show the world when our desires get the better of us. Desperation is on terrible display, and who is not a culprit when it comes to rash acts? These stories are comedies of manners, or tragedies of the absence of manners. They document desire gone wrong, which is to say that they document desire. In a Diane Williams story, there is frequently a narrator who surprises herself, who comes to revelations as if by accident, and who encounters the world at large with awe and wonder. Wisdom is rarely handed down by a narrator. It is stumbled across, discovered accidentally, or missed entirely. Wisdom is in the next room. Innocence and confusion reign supreme, but these states are always one thought away from some kind of difficult revelation, and it is this territory that Williams stakes out as her own, the threshold before understanding. What's often slippery and mysterious in a Diane Williams story are not the individual sentences, although these can be stunning, and indeed they traffic in sharp and unexpected syntax, but the eerie and sometimes inscrutable transitions between the sentences. This is where wild leaps take place, where logic falters and gives way to something more impressionistic and disruptive. We can't help but look for one thing to lead to another, and here one thing does lead to another, but it's such a funny another, such an unexpected one, that the result is often bracing and can be wholly, deliciously disorienting. In a Diane Williams story, we think we know something, but we certainly don't know the next sentence, and it's an uncertainty that Williams exploits to great effect. Stories are a strange term for what Diane Williams writes. We might not read them for plot or sequence or narrative exactly, even though those things rear up sometimes. In the earlier stories especially, there is a kind of narrative continuity and adherence to plot. But not so far into her career, she tinkered with the machine, and the text took a turn toward the cryptic. I used to think she was making prepared texts from unexpected source material, turn-of-the-century gardening books.